Hello guys, we have challenges again. As always, I want to help you to pass them all, and in this video I will help you to pass the first 5 challenges. To make this guide useful for most players, not just a talkless video, the first thing I want to do is to unequip all my equipment. And of course I understand that not all of you have keys, so I changed my hero uncommon. I'll leave only my tech parts and a pet. By the way guys, don't look at my attack or health because for these challenges it doesn't matter how high it is. Only matters your skills from equipments, tech parts and talents. If you don't believe me, let's check the damage I'm doing with my 18,000 attack. Enemies will appear in 2 seconds. And look at this, 11 damage. I did 11 damage with 18,000 attack guys. So please, don't write me stupid comments that my attack is too high for these challenges. Okay guys, to pass the first challenge, the first thing you need is kunai. Yes guys, if you will not equip a weapon, you will use kunai. Kunai, a later shuriken, will help you to defeat bosses. Bosses are not really hard to defeat here. So for weapon skills, besides shuriken, you need only 2 skills. Those are Force Barrier and Defender. Other skills doesn't matter, just choose what you like. From supply skills, beside EO for your weapon skills, I recommend you to choose Fuel and Power Bullet. The first boss is not really hard to defeat, very easy boss, especially if you'll use kunai or the Sword of Disorder. After defeating this boss, focus more on Guardian and Force Field because you have a lot of mobs. Besides these 2 skills, you can kinda focus on Fuel and Power Bullet, they will also help you. So guys, if you do everything right, these minutes will not be hard to survive. To defeat the second boss will be harder, would be great if you'll have shuriken and high star power bullet. Without equipments I had problems with speed, it was really hard for me to escape from boss and its projectiles. To not have this problem, use 1OS boots or choose sport shoes. In the last minutes, if you'll have Defender and high star force field, it will be enough to survive all waves. To easily beat the final bosses, besides shuriken, would be great if you'll have Destroyer or Whistle Arrow. If you'll have problems with surviving, choose Ruin Suit. As you can see guys, to pass the first challenge, you don't need anything special, you just need the right skills. The first challenge can be passed even without any equipment. For the next challenge, I will use nothing again, only my tech parts and my pet. To pass this challenge will be harder, besides shuriken you'll need Destroyer and also would be great to have Whistle Arrow. And again guys, to survive all waves, you'll need Defender and Force Barrier. To survive all these waves, fuel is not really needed, you can go only with Power Bullet. What is important to have is Ruin Suit. We have enemies which projectiles you cannot block, and besides that we have tough bosses. Good defense is very important here. The first boss as usually is not hard to beat, just avoid him. Keep a distance, that's all what you need. Next means without Force Barrier or Defender will be really hard to survive if you're using shuriken. We have many enemies, we have bullets that you cannot block. Those 2 skills will make some space around you and it will be easier to avoid these projectiles. The next 2 bosses are only hard if you don't have a good speed and shuriken. If you have it all, just circle around them. Guys, I almost forgot to say that to easily survive the last minutes, you will need Molotov, because enemies will leave toxic bullets and fire can vanish them. If you'll have it, you'll have Defender, you'll have Force Barrier, you will easily survive all these minutes, all these waves. As I told you, we'll have tough bosses, but if you'll have shuriken, if you'll have Destroyer and Whistle Arrow, plus a good defense, I mean Ruin Suit, this challenge will be passed even without any equipment. Yeah, I'm using tech parts and my pet Croaky, but believe me guys, they don't give me super boost. If I can make it without equipments, you should definitely make it with equipments, especially with S equipments. For the next challenge, I will actually use one equipment, it's Baseball Bat. As for me guys, this challenge is one of the hardest, and to survive all waves, I had to change my weapon, I had to change kunai on Baseball Bat. Anyway guys, it's normal bat, which doesn't give me anything. To easily survive all these ways, beside Baseball Bat, beside Lucille, you need Guardian, Defender, and Force Barrier. I also highly recommend you to choose Soccer Ball, make Quantable, because it's good against mobs and bosses. And here in this challenge we have tough bosses. So you'll need Destroyer, and the last skill is up to you. From supply skills, beside EU for your weapon skills, I highly recommend you to choose Fuel and Power Bullet. The last ways are not really easy to survive either. As you know guys, in this challenge we have a machine that can speed up time. But I want to tell you a trick that will help you to get more skills. When you have enemies that drop blue and golden bar fuel, do not speed up the time. As a result, you'll kill more of such enemies and will gain more experience. Speed up the time when you have enemies that drop green bar fuel. To easily defeat the first boss, besides keeping a good distance, try to stay below it. Not really hard boss if you have a good speed. Which guys I didn't really have, but as you can see, I defeated this boss. In the next minutes, do the same trick to get more skills. Make Defender and Force Barrier as fast as you can. Focus on Fuel and Power Bullet, you will need them later when you need to survive the last minutes. Next bosses will be really easy to defeat, it literally took me a few seconds, maybe 15, maximum 20 seconds. You should not have any problems with them, problems you will have with the last minutes. Guys, to easily survive them, you need to speed up time. Move to the right side, to the left side, but within that machine. Don't move fast, move only when projectiles will be about to hit you. That's how you will avoid most projectiles. When you will not have bursts, don't speed up the time to get more skills to maximize your skills. If you do everything right, the last 5 minutes will be not a problem for you. If you'll need to recover your health, collect enough biofuel and you'll get Stick of Ham. The final bosses will be the hardest problem, that's why you need Destroyer, Quantable and Power Bullet. Would be great if you'll have equipments in good quality and you'll be able to use Shuriken here. But if your equipments are not that good, use Baseball Bat. This challenge, as for me guys, is one of the hardest, especially if you just started playing like a month ago. Anyway, if you use the right skills, it will be passed. For the next challenge, I used nothing again. This challenge is easier to pass, not really hard. So to pass it, you need Defender. Force Barrier is not really needed, but better to have it. During this challenge, we will have poison pools, and the best way to get rid of them is fire, so choose Molotov. Other skills must be best skills against bosses, for example Destroyer. From supply skills, beside EU for your weapon skills, I recommend you to have Power Bullet and Ruin Suit. From the first minutes, focus more on Guardian because we will have a lot of enemies. The first boss is Manager, but with Kunai at least 3-5 stars, it will be not really hard to defeat him. In the next minutes, focus more on Forceful, try to make Defender. We'll have more enemies coming, and without these skills, it will be hard to survive. To easily defeat the next bosses, would be great to have Destroyer and Shuriken. If you'll have them, you'll have no problems. The last minutes with Defender and Force Barrier will be the easiest ones. You may have problems with the final bosses, that's why you'll need best skills against them. Like Supercell, Destroyer, Whistle Arrow, Quantum Ball, and of course Ruin Suit, which will help you to survive longer. Yeah, this challenge is not as easy as the first one, but not that hard as the third challenge. To pass it, as you can see guys, you just need the right skills. As equipments? No, I haven't heard about them. Okay guys, now we're going to pass the last challenge of this video, the last 5 challenges we'll pass in the next video. Do not miss it, just subscribe my channel and would be great if you like this video. As you can see, I still don't use any equipments. To pass this challenge, we'll need 2 important skills which we used in previous challenges, Defender and Force Barrier. To make them more effective, you need Fuel and Power Bullet. Plus, I recommend you to choose Ruin Suit because we'll have enemies that choose projectiles which you cannot block. Other supply skills must be EU for your weapon skills. From weapon skills, beside Guardian and Force Field, choose skills best against bosses, like Destroyer, Whistle Arrow. In this challenge, enemies become invisible from time to time, so very important from the first minutes, focus on Force Field and Guardian. But more on Force Field and try to make Force Barrier as fast as you can. The first boss is very easy to defeat, especially if you have Kunai 2 4 stars. In the next minutes, faster you will make Force Barrier, then easier it will be to survive. When you'll have enemies that shoot projectiles which you cannot block, beat down or up. So it will be easier to avoid them, you just need to move to sides, to the right, to the left sides. If you have at least Shuriken, the next two bosses will not be really hard to defeat. To easily avoid their projectiles, circle around them. I had little problems with one of these bosses because I don't have good speed. So if you have S-boots, of course use them, if you don't have them, use prosthetic legs. The last minutes with skills I told you is a piece of cake. If it will be kinda hard to survive for you, just stay in one of the corners. The final boss is one of the easiest, just keep a good distance and avoid him and his projectiles. So guys, now you know how to beat the first 5 challenges. As you could see, you don't need anything special, especially as equipment. In my next video, I will help you to pass the next 5 challenges, and to not miss it, subscribe my channel.